Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. This is show number 175. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to show number 175 of the Jimmy Palumbo Show here at Shea from downtown Mawa. Of course, behind the glass, coming in from downtown Dunellen in the fabulous home studios, your friend and mine, Mr. Wrestling himself, Dave Sturchia. Good evening, everybody.
Well, Jimmy, it's officially, which is just wild to think about, but my show was a week ago already.
Yes,
so
it was.
It moved, man. It moved, but I'm still kind of sort of riding the high, but now you can't really ride the high anymore because business is business and we keep moving.
I, of course, set off in just a few minutes. We will go in detail because we did the show last week before the extravaganza down at the shore. So we're going to get into that. It was a great night, and we're going to get into it and bust balls and have some laughs with that. Of course, this is show 175. One George Martin, one Keith Hamilton, and one someone I don't think Dave knows, and he should, one Travis Chapman. Do you know who Travis Chapman is?
Not a shot.
He's only the first base coach of the New York Yankees. Okay.
Right now?
And Sergio in and out. That'll do it.
Yeah.
By the way,
he's going to need to grab some bench.
I'm going to come clean. I didn't know who he was either. I went on my website. I said, who knows Travis Chapman? He's been coaching for 3 years. First base coach. At least has a anyway. Nobody knows. If anybody knows, even Venditti's not even driving off the road. There are no.
He's driving casually, like, casually.
I know him. Travis Chapman, sure, of course. And of course, at the top of the show, the baseball card segment. This guy, I don't think anybody's going to drive off the road here because this guy is just your generic mid-'80s to mid-'90s player. He's just a fine young man, played 13 years. He is Gerald Perry. Now, the only problem when you have guys like Gerald Perry and you're trying to do research, turns out there's 11 billion Gerald Perrys. They all played sports. They all played different things. I couldn't figure out anything on this guy. But I was blown away by one thing. He played 13 years. He's 63 years old now. Played with Atlanta, the Royals, and St. Louis. His lifetime batting average, 13 years, was 265. That's not bad. I mean, it's
nothing to sneeze at.
I mean, he'd be batting fifth on the Yankees now, but he only hit 59 home runs, 832 hits. But in 1988, in Atlanta, he batted 300. Only 5 guys in the National League batted 300 in 1988. That's great. That seems low, doesn't it? He had 8 home runs, 74 RBIs. And he battled he didn't win the batting title, but he up to like 2 weeks left in the season, he was battling some guy nobody ever heard of, Tony Gwynn, for the batting title. He's making about $1 million a year. In 1993, now this is something that I think this guy, Gerald Perry, is unique, but maybe I'm wrong. In 1993, he had 23 pinch hits for the Cardinals. I mean, like, he pitched it and he got a hit 20. Isn't that a lot over the course of a year?
So he came off the bench and delivered.
Off the bench, he got a hit 23 times.
I feel like that is a lot.
How many times does the guy come off the bench and a chopper to thirds, checks the stitch, fires across the diamond all the way?
Checks the stitch.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
and that got me.
And then he was a hitting coach. I find this funny too. He was a hitting coach for Seattle, Pittsburgh, and the A's, but only for 2 years each time. So to me, I don't know. This is me being an old man now. You can't fire a guy after 1 year, but you kind of think he sucks. And then the second year, like, he does suck and he's gone. And then he goes to another team. We'll see. Second year, he sucks. Like, to me, the 2-year hitting coach means you're not a good hitting coach. But anyway, I'm not even sure what a hitting coach does. With the players today, what do they say? Hey, watch the curveball on the outside. Like, they don't say anything. Really what they are is they're like, in order to become a hitting coach now, you got to play, like, Sony PlayStation and stuff and all the Xbox. Because all you do is rewind and tape. Look at this hit. Look how he struck out here. look how you swung at the first pitch here. You don't really talk about hitting. You're not down there in the cage with them. Like, you got to lean into it. Nobody does that anymore. And one article, 2 articles I read, they said he was the kind of major leaguer who was just enough. It's like, I never want Jimmy Palumbo. That's going to be on my grave. Jimmy Palumbo, actor, just enough. What an awful thing to say about somebody. It means like, you don't suck, but it's like, it's like you're it's like. It's like whenever you do make the wild card, the playoffs in the NFL, it's the wild card and it's always away. That's how I think of that. Just enough. That's 9-7 or 9-8 now with the stupid 17 games, which is
they're moving to 18. It looks like
I can't. They're going to be playing it's an 11-month season. Anyway, that's it, my guy, Gerald Perry, out of Savannah, Georgia. Just basically.
Listen, now that I have a gnat flying around me, I saved my card and didn't say anything to you because of the fact, and this is a true story. I go up to my attic, I grab my stack of basketball cards because that's for whatever reason I got a stack of basketball cards, and I grabbed the first one and I said, "The hell with it! I don't care who it is. I got to get down there. We got to start." So my guy played a couple solid seasons in the league. Played for the Knicks, the Hornets, and then the New Jersey Nets. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, Johnny Newman. I was so impressed. I was like, wait a minute. No way. And I put it down. I was like, I got to choose another card. This seems too likely. But here he is, man. Johnny Newman, who, again, let's see, averaged – he played a lot of games. His first couple of years with the Knicks, he played the entire season.
He wasn't bad.
In Charlotte, he kind of fell off, but then he played 81 games his final year. Listen, I love the way I think it was Jim Carvalho used to say Jay New, and I've been saying that like I have a tick or I have something wrong with me, and I sadly passed that on to Dave because I heard he walks around his house yelling Jay New in front of his wife and kids, and they have no idea what he's saying. But I always tell the story. I went to the Staples Center to watch the Nets play the Clippers 100 years ago, and we were first row behind the bench. Anthony Mastromar, the guy who produced Beer League, he's a big Nets fan. He got his tickets, and there's a guy at the end of the bench, and I couldn't see his face. And who knows? I don't know. I don't know players' faces, and it says Newman, so I'm like, I just started going like Jay New. And I told my buddy, I said, hey, Anthony, there used to be a guy in the Knicks named Johnny Newman. Because to me, that was 20 years ago when he played. He goes, no, that's Johnny Newman. The guy, I'm like, that's not Johnny Newman. So I became a Bobby son. I was like, I was a Swiftie over Johnny Newman. I'm like, Johnny Newman. And nobody, when I tell you he got no attention, end of the bench, I'm like, Jay Newman. He looked back at me, but kind of like, not happy someone's calling his name. It was a little disgusting. You're not supposed to know me.
Why is this guy? I'm making $11 million a year quietly sitting over here. Why is this guy telling me looking back now, if I was there now, I would be like, you stink, Jay New. I would have got a photograph with him. I'd have loved him. Anyway, all right, Johnny Newman and Gerald Perry. 2 very similar players in their own, even though they're different sports. So that was that. I'm also wearing a shirt I got from my brother-in-law. I guess I have to stand up. It actually just says Rutgers national champions, 1869, with a 6-4 win over Princeton. Sadly, if you bet Princeton, you did cover. Rutgers was giving 3.
Wait. What was the final score?
6-4.
Is that that's got to be a scoregami? Like it never happened again.
Back then the rules were different. It was probably 2 points.
2 safeties.
It could have been 2 field goals and 2 safeties. I don't know. Final score. Imagine doing that game. Final score here from the mud here off College Ave. Rutgers hanging on as Princeton going for a 38-yard field goal sailed wide left and Rutgers hangs on. But if you bet the game on FanDuel or Johnny on the corner, you lost the bet if you bet Rutgers. Anyway, I'm wearing this shirt. It's funny. It's the only, because there was only like 1 game that year. That's why it says national champions. It was like no games.
I was going to say, of what nation did
we never won. Rutgers never won a national championship. I think 3 times, like pole vaulting, and 2 wrestlers have ever won. You go to Penn State, they got national champions. I'm hanging all over the place. Like, even like chess, Penn State wins the national championship. But anyway, so that's it. All right, well, Patreon, we're still mired. It's been a while since old Michael Kelly signed up. We are still stuck at Mariano. I figured we would be. I really got to put an ad out, see if anybody wants to support the show at this point. But I got to give a shout out to my sister, who was with me down in Atlantic City, which we're going to get to later. Also, James Kanowitz, website guy, who I sent him a copy of Beer League, the new pilot, and he gave me an overwhelming positive review. He really did. It was nice to hear. I've sent it to 8 people. I'm 7-1. I got 1 bad review from a guy on my softball team who just didn't. His review was like, you're just calling everybody a fat fuck. Well, me and Dave were in it, so that's 2 fat fucks right there. So that's we couldn't call Deej a fat fuck. But I'm not sure he's our target audience anyway. And now he's going to listen to the show and get pissed. I wouldn't say his name though. Although he does pitch for the Potbellies, I'll leave it at that. And that's it. And also Bob Sheehan from Colonia, New Jersey, with a quick 3. His birthday, he turns 59 like me, Sheeha, as he's known, down in Burlington. And his son goes to Rutgers now, so that's fun. And we have, of course, I'm wearing them right now, ChasingMiracles.com. Try to have a little dramatic pause there. That's right. ChasingMiracles.com. Stem cell patches, shit your body needs. These things are awesome. They repair your cells. They're non-transdermal. They get stamina. Recovery is a big thing for me anyway. No needles, non-invasive day here at Shea. Serena Williams uses these, and a bunch of Michael Phelps and athletes. Dave is wearing them right now. As a matter of fact, she wants you to call her.
Okay.
To discuss maybe on your new. Well, we're going to talk about your new show at the end, but to maybe doing some kind of barter thing or whatever you got to do. Yeah. We'll talk to her about that. But ChasingMiracles.com. Talk to Tommy and Donna. They're great people. They listen to the show. They think we're a bunch of jerks. And that's how it goes on there. So that is it. Chasing Miracles. Now let's get to the extravaganza at the shore. War at the shore. Listen, I had a blast at your wrestling thing for a number of reasons. A little have to anything to do with wrestling. Number one, I love the way you set it up. It was a riot. I love seeing the wrestlers like up close. And the ring was cool. You set it up really, really nice. Michael Deej, who plays Alphonse in Beer League, he came with me. I was able to, we always have last week. People were, that's the guy from Beer League. That's the guy from Beer League. I got a huge charge out of that. Johnny Tritto. I met your liquor guy. I'm busting his chops. He may sponsor a Beer League thing later on. You did a tremendous job. The wrestling, I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't claim to be. I was blown away. The what they say to the audience, what the guys yell out. And there's some people that were there like me, just having a good time. It's wrestling. It's all fun. There are other guys who were like really intense about it. You could watch, like they were really watching like moves and who was going to win, and almost like it's real to them, you know? And so I got a huge, me and Deej were crying at that. The stupid outfits the guys were wearing with the things coming off their arms. It was awesome. But what really blew me away was obviously the ring, you know, has a little give to it. But when you're on TV, you know, it looks like it's like a Broadway show kind of deal. But when you're like 10 feet from the stage and some guy goes flying off the ring, yeah, the stage has a give. Let me tell you something. Like, no, these guys, some of the punches, you know, they land flat on their back. You can see like you have to land square on it. They're good at that. But some of the punches, like a couple of chest punches, like, like if you even tap me in the chest right now, I'm like, oh, these guys are definitely getting hit and punched. And then the thing that blew me away, there was one jump from the top into the ring, and he landed on the guy. But you could kind of tell that he hit more of his body than the guy he hit. But that one wrestler, and it was right in our corner, he got to the top, but the other wrestler was already out of the ring. And, dude, he did like a triple kowtow I don't know, Oksana Bayul skating move, flew into the air, and there was seats in front and only a little padding on the sand. It wasn't that there was no give there, and he landed like he was way in the air, bang, and we were like, that definitely was the best one of the night. I don't care what anybody says. And he got up, and the other guy, that'll do it here from the Omni. But me and Deej were like, if that guy made a little, like either if he jumped too far, he blows out the front row. Okay. And then Dave cut to Dave Sergio in the Ocean County Court discussing, or if he hit the guy with his elbow, like you were talking about, if you're wrong 2 or 3 inches either way, either he breaks his neck or you kill your buddy in the ring. And believe me, I was right there. You can call it fake, whatever you want to call it. But when you jump 4 feet into the air, so it was like a 10, 12-foot drop straight on a guy right in front of this lady. And she went like, oh, and then they get up, they stumble off. It was a lot of fun. And then it was really nice too. I sat by you for a little bit. My favorite part of the show is Deej was worried that I was going to interrupt you. I'm like, Deej, I'm not going to. He's doing his job. I'm not going to do that. But all of a sudden, I said Jay New, and then you're on the air, and someone did a move, and you just went Jay New, and then you held the microphone, and you were like, I just said Jay New. It means nothing. I laughed at that. But what was beautiful about it was there was a point when the sun was setting, and the way you had your camera was. And while they were wrestling, the ocean is in the background. And it was, that was awesome, man. It was really a nice night. The weather, I think you would have had more people. It was so hot during the day, especially up in North Jersey. But it was, I had shorts on, but I could have had jeans on. It was gorgeous. Now I know at the end, I got to see your kids. I was playing with them in the sand. All they wanted to do was meet Natalie again. But, and then at the end, the last match was going on, and I was getting phone alerts like, please leave the area, vicious storm coming in. So I kind of watched the last match, and then I scooted out of there. And just as I got to my car, maybe I drove 5 or 10 minutes, the skies opened up, and I was hoping that you guys had at least enough time to gather the computers and some of the cameras and stuff like that. But it seems like you did.
Yeah, I mean, from top to bottom, it was just an incredible experience. Like, it was stressful. I had multiple people texting me that were actually there watching me pace, and they're like, hey, man, go take a minute real quick. Just, like, go embrace this for a second. Because I was just a panicking mess. I'm a manic mess as it is as a businessman. And this didn't do me any favors. Let's just say that.
Right.
But shout out to the talent. Shout out to the production crew. Shout out to Martell's Tiki Bar, who, I guess I can release this on this show. It's a different platform, but they texted us 2 days later and they say, War on the Shore 2, 2025, get back here. And we're like, we're in, let's do it. So we're coming back next year for it. And it's a lot of cool
you guys, I'm guessing I'm not sure I'm sure every production you make a mistake or two. If you clean up any mistakes you made, enhance all the great stuff you did, I think
I had to. The one thing I had to do, I was not happy with my commentary performance on my very first main event of my very first show, because I'm calling the match in the ring, but I'm also seeing lightning in the distance, and I'm also seeing alerts on my phone. So I'm just all over the place. So, the fine folks at Chop Studios allowed me to use their studio, aka I used my own studio, and I redubbed over the main event. I wanted to do that before I put it out to anybody, because it wasn't.
So you redubbed it, huh? Off of watching.
Yeah, I had to. I was like, "There's no way I'm sitting with this," because again, I would be like, Moff, with a massive slam, and I would just look over to the right, and then like things would be happening, and I just wouldn't. Not that I didn't care, but
very hard.
Like,
it's very
hard.
When's
it going to rain?
It's very
but
hard.
Luckily, like you said, you got in your car, and the minute Dan Moff walked through the back curtain to end the show, the skies opened up, and I looked up, I was like, well, thank you. This is going to be a mess, but thank you. You know what I mean?
You got through it. Yeah, I mean, maybe the only way is maybe next year you can have an on the field producer, so you can do your announcing. And once the matches start and you're over there doing your announcing, someone else does it. You know what I mean? I think that might be.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways. We've already kind of went over like the the do's and the don'ts and the little things. And we've gotten back amazing response. You know what I mean? Like all the positive responses have come back, and people are asking for the next show, which right now we're in current sort of negotiations to have a show in late September. So that's going to be fun. I think once we lock it all down, but it's definitely stressful, but like at the end of it, when you kind of sit back and you start seeing photos and videos and things start to surface and people are buzzing and people are happy about what they saw, you know, you did a good job. So it's like when you get off the stage for stand up and somebody tells you, man, that was fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And then you feel good about it. So
I was wondering if after about an hour or so, I'm thinking, probably a lot of people are going to leave. And you know what? No one really, outside of people with younger kids, I'm sure your wife got out of there, but nobody really left. The crowd stayed strong. I think, like I said, if it wasn't so hot at 2:00, I think you would have got people, you know, because people thinking, I don't want to sit outside in the heat, but it was not hot at all. It was maybe 75.
Oh, we lucked out. We had that ocean breeze the entire time.
It was nice. That was very cool. So good luck to that. I think you'll do an even better job next year. I was down in Atlantic City Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. My daughter was at the national breakout competition for dance. She did an awesome job. She was in 7 dances. Her knee is, I would say she's 90% strong in the knee, but she looked beautiful. She nailed it. She sold it, which I've been teaching her. You know, dance is about, you know, being good, but you got to sell it. You got to smile. There's a whole performance end of it rather than the physical stuff. And she did a great job. I stayed over at the Golden Nugget here at Shea with my sister. So funny to travel with your sister. She wanted to go to the outlets. Everybody should go to the outlets with my sister. She is like Lawrence Taylor in 81. She rips into these stores. She knows her prices. She knows the clearance. She knows her kids' sizes. Anybody she's going to buy stuff for, she knows their sizes. She knows. And then when she gets to the counter, there's coupons, apps on her phone. A poor 21-year-old girl working at the counter. My sister comes in. I just told her, I said, you can't cover my sister right now. So just call your manager now. My sister was showing apps. And
it's like, do you need help with anything? She's like, no, you're going to need help with something.
No, it's like, she got great deals. She offered to buy me a bunch of stuff, but I didn't let her do any of that. But we had a lot of laughs there. Then, of course, we watched the Republican convention there. We did that. And we watched it with a bunch of people that were Trumpers and all that stuff. I also, at the Golden Nugget, I bet the Yankees. I put $5 on the Yankees Friday night, and I won $2.30 here at Shea. I just felt, you know, I'm not a gambler, so I wanted to just go in and put something down. Took the guy like way too long, and I'm like, dude, I can do this faster on my phone. This is shitty. But I got the ticket, I cashed it out. I'm like, I won $2.30, which at first I was like, that seems shitty, but then I'm like, well, I only put $5 down. So, if you make $5 bets all week long, you keep on getting your $2.30. So that was fun to do. Now, I got to admit a couple of things. This is I'm going to bash myself part of the program, people. The ride home from AC, okay? We coming home. I needed to get gas. So I stopped at the Judy Bloom rest area in one of those areas that like below exit 82 that I don't go to. I'm at exit 98. Anything past exit 98 sucks, if you ask me. Go to exit 98. You got everything you want to do at the Jersey Shore is off of exit 98. You want to buy a $10 million home? Exit 98. You want to be home in an hour? Exit 98. I mean, it's DJ's, Leggett's, the Osprey, Bar A, Harrigan's, Rod Champagne Porch here. There's everything right there. Where you got to go? Cape May, LBI, you got to go to Brit, pay the ass.
My father just got back from Cape May.
All right. So please, I took him. He's probably still on the road. We pull into the Judy Bloom rest area and we go to the Shake Shack. Okay. And I am making love to this cheeseburger when I first get in the car. What do I do, Dave? First time I've ever done this. I get on the Parkway South, heading back to Atlantic City. I look at my Waze. My Waze is saying, get off at the next exit, off at the next exit. And I'm like, something must be going down. must be brutal traffic somewhere. They're kicking me off the parkway. All it was doing was says, asshole, get off the parkway, get back around, you head the wrong way. So my sister tries it. She's like, oh my God, same thing's happening to me. And then we went on Google. We spent 3 miles. And all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, the numbers are going down. The parkway. Dude, that was 35 minutes because I was at that one spot where there's no exits. I was like, meanwhile, I was so enraptured with the chocolate shake, fries, and the hamburger I had. There was a part of me that didn't really care. I just wanted to enjoy my hamburger. But I was so pissed at myself. Like, it took us so much longer. Then I stopped by to see my mother. She wanted to go out to dinner. I didn't get home until midnight coming back from the shore, but it was okay. I got to see my mom, which is always good. The other thing, played softball on Sunday with the Potbellies, and another occurrence happened there that's never happened to me. So I get up and I slap a base hit over the second baseman's head, right? But I wasn't paying attention because that's this kind of league, this Sunday night league is. The right center fielder was playing way in. Dude, he came up throwing, and I was kind of trotting to first base. I thought I was safe. I still think I was safe. But you know what? You can't argue. When you get a base hit and there's a play at first, you're not allowed to have a lawyer. There's no courtroom.
Wait, hold on. Isn't there, and I love nothing more than to discuss the unwritten rules of baseball, or softball rather, but isn't there like an unwritten rule to not try to throw out somebody at first base from the outfield?
Yeah, plus an older guy like myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're trotting down, and this guy's trying to Aaron Judge you and just fucking bully one.
They actually did it twice during the game, and a couple places were close.
I would fight him.
So this guy,
that's clear.
I got up, that it's self-umped. So my buddy, actually the guy who was bashing Beer League, the pilot, was the first base coach and umpire. He calls me out, but he had a smile on his face. Like, I was calling you out no matter what. I got it. I would have done the same thing. But I heard the guy barking in the outfield. Yeah. I'm like, all right. So I get up next time. Now, I went to the bench. I was like, listen, that will never happen again, right? So I get up. Dude, this kid was really playing in. And I'm like, oh, this kid, he's doing it to me. You know what I mean? And old Johnny Triddle said, you know what? I haven't played the power game since 1994. But the big fella with his big gut, dude, I hit a rope over his head. Thank you very much. Talk shit the whole way. Only went to second base because I didn't care. So after the game, I was like, you got me once, you ain't get me twice, bro. Never play me that close. You know what I mean? Talking shit with him. But the Potbellies won again. Again, we are in the playoffs. We're cruising into the playoffs on a 3-game winning. We won more games this year than we have in 5 years. We got a couple of younger guys, but not that young. And I don't know what it is. That the league stinks, I guess. And maybe we're not drinking as much. I don't know. But it's nice to ever do that. So that's fun to do. Now, in the real league in Mawa, Johnny Trino 2 for 4 last night with a couple of frozen ropes here, Shay. But I turned to double play. Here's how you know you're old. When you're playing second base and the shortstop just says, make sure to one, just make sure to one, just make sure to one. That means like he doesn't think I could turn 2. Well, guy hit a quick one hopper to him. I came across the bag, fired over the first, nailed the guy. I was more pumped about that than any of my hits. But here's the craziest thing. So we're batting, guy's playing left field, and he dives for a ball, goes under his glove, right, home run. He doesn't get up right away, like slow to get up. And I thought he was doing it like, can't believe I dove for that. Now it's a home run. A lot of guys do that. He didn't get up well at all. He really like struggled. A couple guys ran over, and I was like, oh man, he hurt himself. Something ain't right there. You just tell it wasn't funny. About 10 seconds, it was like, hey, that guy's hurt. Kind of all went out there, and he must have landed on his elbow into his ribs. So, dude, the game was delayed like 10 minutes. I was like, dude, man, you should go to the hospital. You should go to the hospital, you know. You could be internal bleeding, cracked rib, you can injure your lung. I'm just being, all of a sudden, I'm like, Dr. Palumbo here. I'm like, and meanwhile, I'm like, it's softball. Go home. You're hurt. It's over. That'll do. If I got hurt like that, my mother would be on the line, my sister, ambulances. Johnny Trino's out forever, retirement.
Airlifted out of there.
Oh, no, big field, helicopter. Johnny Trino being airlifted. I mean, it would have been way worse. Yeah, my ear would have been flown off. Would have been way anyway. So, I see the guy. He gets back to the bench. We start the game over. We had to add it. We had to give him a player or whatever. We were beating him up pretty good. And I go over to him, and there's a woman next to him. And this guy, I'm telling you, dude, he was sitting on the bed. He was having trouble breathing. He was like gasping for air. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You can't breathe. Something's really wrong. And there's a woman there who I thought was, I don't know what she was. I'm like, I said, dude, can you call, so as I'm about to say, can you call your wife or family? The woman looks at me and she's holding the book. And she says, I'm thinking this guy's like, she looks at me, she goes, did you guys get 3 or 4 runs that inning? Right? So I'm like, I don't know. I gave her such a nasty look, like, I don't know. Who cares? And then I said, can you call your wife? And she goes, I am his wife. So wait a minute. Your husband is gasping for air with a possible contusion, collapsed lung, and you're asking whether we got 3 or 4 runs in the inning?
That's dedication right there.
That is dedication. I was like, what are you kidding me? But when the guy left, he was sweating and he could barely walk. He was only probably maybe 30 or 35. I was like, I said, dude, you're going to Valley, right? You're going to Valley Hospital. So he left. I got to try to find out what happened to him. But that was I hate to see, because I feel like I'm going to get hurt every 5 seconds. But we finished in first place. So you got to say 9th round draft pick. I was 2 for 4. So I am 18 for 39 on the year. The only way to bat 500 is Wednesday night. I got to go 3 for 3 to get to 500. I don't think I can, but yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'm tied for 3rd on the team in triples. And I'm 11th in batting average, only 15. So it's a hitter's league. And I'm 9th in hits day here at Shea. So that's it. That's my softball stuff. All right. Now, Yankees. The only thing I'll say about the Yankees is this. When is Giancarlo Stanton coming back? They need his bat, bro. They look punchless without him. Problem is, if he starts this Friday, he'll start hitting around August 27th. So
they left a small village on the base paths the other day. I was like, what is happening? Like, bases loaded 2 innings in a row and couldn't string one across. I was like, all right, you know what? But then last night, you leave it up to Soto, 2 home runs, fucking 6 RBI. It's like guy goes off the chain and wins the match. Almost in the match. Now, I get all my wrestling stuff.
Hang on. There's any way we could pause the show right now?
No.
Okay.
But I can take over.
I just heard a loud noise in my laundry room. Hang on a second.
Sure. So with that, Jimmy's going to take a little bit of a break, and welcome back to the Jimmy Palumbo Show, ladies and gentlemen. There is no editing here. I edit after, but it is a live stream after all. So I guess we'll just wait for Jimmy to come back. And so what did I do after the wrestling event? Well, I went to Luke Combs on Saturday. Had a great time at the concert. That was a lot of fun. Country concerts are great. Really makes you feel like that little Americana spirit. So that was happening. And that's really it. I haven't played softball in God knows how long. However, I did go to the bar. Speaking of softball, that's what you do when you play softball. I did go to the bar and I saw a couple former teammates of the Chop Sports softball team. Jimmy was a part of that game. That team. We signed him to a lucrative 1-year contract. But yeah, that's what I do good now as I drink. I don't play softball anymore because I just can't. But yeah, so Jimmy will be back in just a couple minutes. I'm very, very, very comfortable doing this by myself. In fact, this is a great time for me to plug that starting very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks, there's going to be something called My Fandom Cast. It's the business I work for and own. It's going to be very similar to the Chop Sports Daily. So if anybody was fans of that, I'm coming back to do my own solo show with guests and general sports, just covering the 4 majors. I guess when soccer comes around for the World Cup or whatever they call it, we'll cover some of that too. But yeah, My Fandom Cast. Get ready for that one. And of course, Wrestle Pro is another company I work for. They're back. In case you're a wrestling fan, they're back at the end of September. What we're trying to do for Fight Factory is try to get back, and September 21st is what we're looking at to try to get back, and we'll see what happens with that. Tyson Hogan joining the party. Hello, Tyson. There was a loud disturbance in Jimmy's home. I don't know if there's a current B&E happening right now, but if there is, we'll find out in just a few minutes because he's realizing there was a loud thud coming from his laundry room. So we don't know what it is, and I'm not getting any reports. And there he is. Welcome back to the show.
The air conditioning's in my laundry room, and I heard one of those like noises, like everyone's gonna die. So I ran over there, and I don't know. I just shut it off. I hope it's if you see flames coming out behind me, please do not panic.
It's all right. Took over, did a little self-promotion, the whole 9 yards. I kept your people company. Don't you worry about that.
Don't you worry about it. I hope you're talking about your new show coming on, or is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. I told them a new sports show coming out. Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Are you doing it once a week or every day?
I'm not sure yet. I got to allocate some time. I got to figure out, what's best for my schedule. And, because I do have other things going on. So I don't want to really take
You want my advice? And I've told you this already. You should do it when something big goes down.
Yeah.
You got to go on. Within
I think what I'm going to try to do is have the My Fandom Cast, but then have My Fandom Cast emergency episodes, where I just jump on in case anything goes down. This is going to be my, they're strapping the rocket to me right now. And they said, look, like ESPN has ESPN, but they also have SportsCenter, their flagship show. They need a flagship show. So I'm going to steamroll that bad boy and try to make something up.
I've always loved, I know you're not a fan of him, but the way Mike Francesa does his podcast, I love it because especially for New York sports, like if something big happens, he'll go on an hour later. Yeah. And I think especially like you definitely got to do one on Sunday night, especially I think you should do one like an hour after the Cowboy game. Cold.
Well, I usually save the Cowboy stuff for the Jersey Boys podcast with Brett Ernst and Keith Ernst and stuff like that. So
I guess but you know what? I say do your own stuff. It's all about Dave.
I mean, listen, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because I'm realizing over the last, I guess, 2024? It's the last 3 years that not a lot of people are wired like me, man. Like they just like there's a lot of like, yeah, I'm in, let's do it. And then they fade. And then like, yeah, I'm in, let's do it. And then they fade. And like I'm the only one like, dude, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like if I didn't believe in the Jimmy Palumbo Show, I wouldn't do this every week. You know what I mean? So it's like if I have a belief in something, I stick it out and I stick.
You got to be all in. It's just, you just got to be for sports. Yeah, we talk a lot of sports on the show because I'm a fan. But if you're going to do some analysis, sports is 24/7 now, man. There's events going on every day. I just like the way the timing of Francesa's show. It comes in like Knicks lose Game 7. An hour later when you go to bed, you turn on Francesa's there and he discusses it. I think you could do that for sure. Pop a few in there. That's good. I wish you well with that. And maybe I'll come on your show as a guest when Rutgers wins.
Yeah, there you go.
So, which brings us to cornholelevel.com. That's right. Cornholelevel.com. Now, for $19.95, you get these bad boys right here. Dave feels much better about his cornhole since the show is over last week at the shore. Hook this thing right in. Go give a shout. Cornholelevel.com. Mike Caprio, my second baseman for Corona Construction. They're only $19.95. You get 20% off. JP Show. And go order these things. They work. They're cool. They got insignias, a Rutgers thing I have. They got some NFL things. They're dabbling, blah, blah, blah. Go check it out. Cornholelevel.com here from the Omni. All right. Well, Cornhole sponsors a very fine portion of the show. And what is that, Dave?
That would be Jimmy's credits. And this week we, instead of in replacement of the credits, the 150 plus or whatever you're at this point, instead of going down that road, I wanted to really go back to the very beginning of when you got your start. I believe your first play was in Rutgers, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in that area, or maybe I'm completely off.
It was 1989, and it was a show called Pancakes from Hell in downtown Allendale, New Jersey, at the Mill. If anybody's familiar with that area, there's like a old river that goes through, and there's an old mill that was probably really used for power back in the day. And it's an old mill, and now they have a nice coffee shop and yoga studios. But back then in 1989, this looked like, the old polo grounds. What happened was I was selling computers at Clancy Paul in Princeton. Okay. 2 years out of Rutgers. And that's when you bought a computer as a family. Like you come in, they had like desk stations and you showed them, look, a monitor. There's no mouse yet, and you showed everybody like you were going to get a computer for the family. And I see a lady outside. She's like 7.5 months pregnant, smoking a cigarette. Okay. Now in 1989, you didn't smoke when you were pregnant, right? She puts it out. And I said, what are you doing? You smoking? You're pregnant. She's like, please. My mother had 6 kids. I had another. She was like totally dismissing it. She probably drank too, right? So she comes in and she goes, I need to buy a computer. And she had like a little article cut out. I need to buy I don't have any money. I need to buy the most inexpensive computer you possibly can. I'm like, all right, well, she goes, I'm going to buy it right now. So don't mess around. Give me So they had this IBM thing and it had 2 floppy drives. Okay. And now if I'm boring someone, I don't care. The first floppy drive, you put your operating system in. Do you remember that? You probably don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
The one floppy was for the operating system, which means the brains of the computer. And the other one was for you stored stuff on a floppy disk. But at the time, for another $100, they had a huge hard drive coming in at 20 megabytes. Okay. That was already in the machine. So she's going on and on. And finally I told her, I said, listen, why don't you just get the one with the hard drive? It stores the operating system. You don't have to do that. And then you can have the floppy for your own hard drive space and stuff like that. So I started busting this lady's balls and talking about like, you're smoking, you're buying the cheapest computer. I don't know what came over me. I was just having a good time with this lady. She was giggling. She was busting I had like a shitty tie on. She mocked out my tie. Finally, she says to me, are you interested in doing a sketch show? Now you got to remember, I was not in showbiz in 1989. Not even close, nothing. I was selling computers, graduated Rutgers. I was not even a sniff of showbiz. I was like, a sketch show? Where? She goes, in Allentown, over at the mill. I'm like, I don't know. She gives me her card. I sell her the computer. I call her up. She goes, yeah, we're having rehearsals next week. The show's in September. The show was called Pancakes from Hell in the basement of the mill in downtown Allentown, right? So we're there, and the rehearsals, I didn't get the material. It was all these like Harvard like Shakespearean jokes. Like I didn't everybody was older than me. I was like, but I was too embarrassed to say, I'm sorry, I don't get any of it. I felt like I was watching the movie Memento. I was like, I don't get any of this. I don't know what, but I played like the host of the sketch show. I didn't get any, I had to keep my notes in a clip. I had my lines in it. But what we did was in between sketches, someone had to rearrange the props and the furniture and stuff. So I played an old man. I was imitating my Uncle Gene Ronzo. He wasn't an uncle, but he was like Gene Ronzo. I had a cigar in my hand, and I did this whole like pantomime thing, which came out of nowhere. I was doing it improv. Nobody told me to do it. And I found that when I was doing that, was getting more laughs than the sketches that we were doing. So I did that. It had weird music on. But it was my first time doing anything. My whole family came. We did about 5 shows. My whole family came. But we got reviewed by the Allentown Gazette, big time newspaper here in Shea. And the guy gave me like personally singled me out like this guy Jimmy Palumbo's got something or something like that. So I read that. I was like, oh shit, I got the bug now, But the weird thing is, my brother, whenever I'm doing anything, he always says, this isn't like Pancakes from Hell. Is it like any bad event? He calls bad events Pancakes from Hell, which is funny as hell to me. But that woman, Mary, I don't even have her last name. This is why I was kidding around with you before the show. I have to find this woman because if she didn't come into that store, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be an actor, nothing, stand up, nothing. Her name is Mary. I tried to find the article and they wrote about me. I thought it was in my personal stuff. I can't find it. Her name is Mary. Mary, the second name begins with O. I will find her name and I will broadcast it. I want to find this lady. Like I've Googled, Facebook. Now, whether that was her maiden name and she changed it, it's not online. Because she's got to be, that was how long ago? 31 years ago, right? 1989? No, 41 years ago. right? I'm like, yeah, 41 years ago. So if she's probably either dead or late 70s or 80s, I guess. I don't know. If I'm 59, she was older than me, but maybe she wasn't that much older. She just looked at her. I don't know. Either way, I'd love to find out where the hell this lady is. Because I got my first two.
I did a quick Google search, pancakes from hell, and I didn't get anything about what you're talking about.
I know. It was
you mix a batch here with some blueberries. It's like,
I know. I did. You don't think I was Googling pancakes from hell before the show? Of course I was. I will get the name of this.
Can you imagine what the internet is thinking right now? Like, the internet has a brain, right? Like, the internet's thinking, like, wait a minute, whoa. Within the last 24 hours, pancakes from hell was searched twice on Google.
Okay, if you Google pancakes from hell, Allentown, New Jersey, in newspaper archives, it comes up with the ad that they put in the paper sketch show.
Oh shit!
That's
all right,
so there is some kind of it was in August, I think, of '89. But anyway, Mary, I love you. If you're out there, I will find you, even to say, put flowers on your grave if you're no longer with us. I don't know. Your kid's got it. You know what's fucked up? Her kid's 41. How funny is that? It's messed up. Anyway, she was a piece of work. My mother got a kick out of her. So, but I got the bug, and then I ended up at Computerware. Then I ended up at Microsoft in 1991. I was smart enough to leave Microsoft and sell my Microsoft stock because that wasn't going anywhere. And I did that. Anybody scoring at home, let me know what 3,000 shares of Microsoft would it be worth now if I just shoved that up my ass. And then I ended up subbing at Woodbridge High School, and then I'm an actor, and all the way down to the Jimmy Palumbo Show, show number 175. So that was it. Pancakes from Hell started it all. And
you left out. You just mentioned Woodbridge High School. You left out your run-in with the softball.
I forgot. See that? Good call. So there's a guy on a softball team, big guy. He's got to be 6'2", 6'3". He's a monster. He doesn't hit for power, but he hits the ball hard. But I thought he was like a fat, lazy, slow guy. He doesn't talk that much. Also, I started to notice that he hits a ground ball motoring to first. He's twice as fast as I. Like he's lightning, and I'm like, I call him Wheels now. That's his nickname. I'm like Wheels. And when he hits one in the gap, he gets to second base like easy. It's great. And he pinch runs. So finally, I said to him, dude, you're like fastest guy on the team. He's like, well, back in the day, I was a football track star and basketball. And I'm like, oh, where'd you go to high school? And he says, Woodbridge High School. I said, did you say Woodbridge with a B? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh. So right away, I'm like, you know Dave Sturcio? He's like, yeah, I know that name. And then he knew like everything that we know, Rio Diner, Galaxy Diner. He's going on and on. And I'm like, oh, my God. This is like, we're going to. So it's really nice to make a connection with a teammate as we're heading into the playoffs. But he does know Dave Sturcio.
Who doesn't at this point?
I mean, I guess he's a year or two older. You're only 38. My God, you're 38. You're old. You're younger than the pregnant lady from Pancakes from Hell.
And I don't smoke.
Oh, my God. You are at shame, which, of course, brings us to Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey. Segway Day here at the stadium. 732-326-3937. Craig and Janine Mashon, family-owned, brother. Go check them out. They got everything. Full-service opticians. It's a cool store. When you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk-off. They take care of you. Mention Chop Sports, Dave Sturcio, me, Rutgers, any kind of thing connected to the show. She'll give you the discount. I promise you. They're good people. They know what they're doing. They've been in the business 19 years. And they're great people. So go check out Absolute Eyewear down by the train station, right across from the Woodbridge Brewery here at
I just
Shea.
hosted a great signing a couple days ago with one Ben Rice of the New York Yankees.
By the way, everybody loves Ben Rice. Is he back with 212?
Dude, it's so, you know what it is? When your team is as shitty as sometimes the Yankees look, all it takes is one hit and they'll love you for at least 2 weeks. I remember this happened. Our team was kind of dog shit. And I think it was Wilson Betamine, I think it was. And every time he got a hit, they played Pearl Jam's Better Man.
Right.
And I was just like, this guy's become a darling. He's batting like 180.
Everybody loves him.
Because he's making a couple plays here and there.
I've been saying, you know me, I've been hard on Volpe. Because I think if he wasn't like a little Italian guy from New Jersey, people would be booing his ass out of here. He's starting to hit a little bit, but how about DJ LeMahieu, who's making, I think, what, $12 million a year, something like that? He got his first home run yesterday. It's July. Like, hey, DJ, like,
I think he needs to, like, again, these guys, again, LeMahieu was never known for power, but when you're a major league bat, like, you figured even the worst power hitter in baseball can spring about 10, 11 home runs for the year. It takes this guy 3/4 of a season to put one over the fence. And I was just like, what are we doing? Like, where are we? Like, the Yankees really do have to make some kind of noise at the deadline. If they're really all in and they're going to buy, there's rumors today that there was a possible reunion between the Yankees and Chad Green. Chad Green was a good reliever. So, like, he's in Toronto right now. So for Toronto to be sellers to the Yankees might even be more intriguing than not. But
a lot of anti-Yankee haters are like, you guys, the record is good and you're mocking them. I'm like, listen, since the first 2 months of the season, if you watch them, there's no way any Yankee fans like, no, I feel good. I feel good heading into.
Had they not gone off to that start, we're the Mets.
Right. Playing hard.
No offense to the Mets, but it's like,
it's like
that's where we would be right now. Struggling to get back to 500, trying to get into the wild card. That's where we would be.
In other news of interest, I been watching Cobra Kai. Have you been watching? That's on again.
I finished the first half, or with the 6-7 episode, whatever the hell it was.
Okay, I love Ralph, and I love the show, but I will say that'll do it here from the Omni. First of all, I'm about to say horrible things. Okay, first of all, the show, I just feel like it ran its course now, and now they like where they go. First of all, the kids are in high school. I feel like they've been in high school for the show started. They were like juniors, and they're still seniors. But they also look differently. The girl, the blonde. You know what's it? You know what? I'm going to say something horrible. I don't think anybody looks like. You know who the best looking person on the show is?
Brett Ernst.
Ralph Macchio.
Look, dude, I looked at my wife. We're watching, I guess it was like episode 3 or 4. I looked at her and I'm like, this shit is so fucking corny. I can't even like, but again, I love it. It's so good. I'm looking for Brett and dude, I'm like, does Danielson really have to discover that Miyagi was a piece of shit? What are we doing here?
I just felt
he's so tragic too. He's like, I can't believe this, and it's like, dude,
there's a whole
40 years.
And the fight scene in the batting cages, I don't know.
When he punches the ball, I'm like, dude.
And then the frat scene, like the eating the popcorn off the floor. I don't know. You know what? I just the show is, maybe that's what the show. I guess that's what it is.
That's what it is, though. Yeah, it's nostalgia. It's Kreese and it's LaRusso, and then it's, dude, some of the lines that what's this guy drops though are hilarious. Like when he gets the 2 girls together for a slumber party, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, I got 2 phones. I'm gonna start messing with him. Like he's just a fucking asshole. And
right. He's a great guy. Listen, the show. Listen, I love Ralph Macchio, and he's a colleague of mine. So I just think like. I know they're going to make a movie, I think, which maybe the movie. I just think that's what I heard. I just don't know where the show goes now.
Well, obviously, it's pretty obvious. It's the tournament, like the tournament thing. Like
but every year, but where it's good. In other words, I don't know. I'm
in lockstep. I don't agree with your taste with stuff, but like on this show, I just feel like, all right, like let's,
It's like, I don't know. You know what? You have to watch it because you're in. But
how many times you have to beef with the same person?
I think the first 2 seasons were great.
I think they're all great. But like that's the thing, and that's something that Chris Gucci is very famous for saying. He'll start, like, for instance, I watched the first season and completed Your Honor. The first season, I was like,
told you about that, right? You can't even sleep. Can't sleep.
I was like, oh my God, right? But now I'm in the second season, about 3 episodes deep, and I'm like, all right, like it's still okay, but it's like,
you know what it is?
Like,
to me,
fell off a little bit.
To me, as a viewer, the creative stuff is still great, but if you're doing a movie about like going to the moon, right? And in the first season, it ends when you land on the moon. The whole show, was designed to land on the moon. You land on the moon. Now what do you do?
And I've never watched a single episode, but that's how I feel about Lost. I was like, how lost can you be?
Like, I know.
They had like 17 seasons, and I'm like, nobody found him. They found Tom fucking Hanks. Like,
right.
Had to find people.
That's why I always laugh in that Tom Hanks movie, because which I think is a great movie. But there's at one point it just says like 3 years later, like instead of showing the same thing, I got to get food, water, shelter, fire, and all that.
Right.
Now he's just. It says 3 years later, as of when that graphic came up 3 years later, I was like, "Holy shit! This guy was barely surviving 30 days, and he's got the spear in his head." He looked like
two scenes in that movie still make me like, one, cringe, two, cry. Cringe is when he blasts his face with the spice. I'm like, whoa, every time I'm like, that is just. But then when he loses Wilson, man, I'm waterworks. I'm like, this is terrible. Great. Like, he's yelling for the guy.
My favorite,
not a fucking volleyball.
My favorite scene is at the end when he's getting when he's being celebrated, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. You can tell. And Tom Hanks is so great. Totally feel like he's lost again, And he goes by the buffet, and all they got is crab legs, and he grabs a crab leg, and he just kind of tosses it to the side. Are you kidding me? Guy
they had a funeral for you and everything. They had a funeral. What was in it? What was in the casket?
And then, of course, the scene when he meets his, it's a great movie. Anyway, we're digressing into that. But also another show, I love that show, Quarterbacks. I think it's one of the best sports documentaries.
Receivers pretty good, too. I haven't finished.
So you liked Receivers?
I'm only like 4 episodes in, but I mean, for me, I'm a big. I don't like
what I don't like about the wide receiver show is they now know it's a TV show. In other words, Quarterbacks, they were following them around. Nobody really, they don't go into detail. Now it's like, like that Quarterback show was a big hit. I feel like it's forced now. And I also feel like clearly what I get out of this is the quarterback's job is way harder than a wide receiver job. I mean, quarterback's got to deal with meetings and coaches and playbooks. And besides, wide receivers are doing, pole to pole, down and in at the Ford, But I don't know. But the players are certainly great. I just don't think, I don't know. I think the Quarterback show is better. I would have left it at that. Also, the new Game of Thrones. I don't know what's going on in the show. First of all, I feel like it would be like taking me back to 1950 and getting ready for a Rutgers season. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know who these people are. I get confused. And some people are like, Pat Volckermer, this is for you. Oh, no, they're really showing the chin. I'm like, no, I'm sitting on the couch, and I have no fucking idea who I'm talking to. Everybody looks blonde. They all look like the same guy. One guy's got the cut eye. Oh, he's the son of, who's the son? You don't know what the hell. You don't know anything. And there's a million dragons now coming out of nowhere. You know what? I used to always say we need the dragons. I just think the show is like wordy and like, it's like, I feel like I'm watching like one of those movies about politics in the back room. Like, it's like, well, who are we talking about? Someone get killed, someone die, someone get laid. I don't know. I still watch it, but I don't know. I just think it's just okay. Other good news here at Shea. I got a call back for a pretty big voiceover. I'll be doing that this afternoon as soon as we're done with this show. I signed an NDA. I can't say anything about it. Literally, this NDA was like, don't say anything in your sleep. Don't dream about this. Like, don't tell your family, your friends. So I can't even say anything about it. But it's a pretty cool thing. It's something I've never done before. So that'll be cool. Also, the best show on television continues to be, in my opinion, Call the Midwife is up 27-17 at the half, coasting to it. I can't believe how good this show is. It's good because it's so relaxing. Like, it's the complete opposite of Your Honor, where you got to like have a scotch after you watch that. The intensity of that show is crazy, right? And how the guy, he tried to do the right thing with his son, and it just...
You know what's crazy, though? The way I think about these shows is like, I would be so pissed if I couldn't binge watch these shows. Like just based off of how the cliffhangers actually
you had to wait. You had to wait once a week, which I think even adds to it.
Yeah,
I think
binging about it, you start guessing. Yeah.
Oh, you're like, what's going on here? Anyway, it's a great show. Of course, Pine Tar Bar and Grill, Fork and River, New Jersey, 609-489-4286. It's the best sports bar in the world. I couldn't get down there on the way back from AC. I'm pissed. I wanted to. Couldn't pull it off because I was going the wrong way on the Parkway and I had to get to my mother's house. Also, Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. Certified therapist. Give her a call if you're feeling down and out. She'll take care of you or tell you where you got to go to get some help. All right, well, that'll do it here. So we got Yankees playing the Mets this week, tonight, tomorrow.
Is that right?
2 games or 3. And the NFL has started their practice.
Training camp, yep.
And Rutgers, I think, will start practicing soon enough. And football is going to enter our space, which will be fine because I can't take watching the Yankees right now, but I still watch them.
And just so everybody's aware, we're now about a month and a half away from the 2024 debut of the Stinks List. So keep in mind that's coming back, ladies and gentlemen.
The Stinks List will be. I know what I have to do. Did I save? Wait a minute. I hope I saved the final Stinks List. I did. I saved the. You know what? So glad I did that because. Just a little tidbit of who stunk. Oh God, so many. Jets, Patriots, Bengals, Titans, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, all were on the Stinks List. Commanders, Giants, Vikings, Bears, Falcons, Carolina, and the Cardinals, all on the final Stinks List. So yeah, I can't wait to do that. Now, do I got to do a preseason one, or do I got to do only after week 1? I think
but you don't know enough. You don't know enough about these teams to start calling them stink. Like you're going to get one story and then
it's got to be after week 1 because the research I do is about total. I watch about besides the Giant game, I watch about 3.5 minutes of the other teams, and that is plenty enough to know who stinks. You just know right away. But yeah, we are definitely going to bring the Stinks List back, so that'll be fun here at Shea. All right, that's it. My work is done. Thanks for listening to the show. Go to patreon.com, Patreon. Support the show so I can pay Dave more or pay me more. Those of you supporting the show. That are not Palumbos. We need more of these. And the Beer League pilot is done. We're thinking about doing something before we release anything, but I have to talk to everybody and figure out what the best way. I don't want to announce anything, but we're definitely shopping it, stuff like that. So I think it's pretty good. Dave thinks it's pretty good. Some other people who hate things think it's pretty good. So maybe we got a little Cobra Kai thing going on at Shea here.
Never know.
Anyway, that's it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.